Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Alley Cat Creations. How are you? I'm hanging in. I made beef tacos and I had some onions, and oh my goodness, I'm still like hours later. Sniffly. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Sorry, guys, if you haven't done so already, and if you get anything from my work, a connect the dot, an epiphany, a mind blown moment, a new book to read, a new author to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links are underneath this video. And I don't know if they're under Rumble because YouTube is not syncing all my videos to Rumble. So if you're watching me on Rumble, hi, go to my YouTube because Rumble doesn't like me. I can only tell you because how many gremlins I had today. Hi, gremlins. So, hey, guys, if you are in the holiday spirit of shopping small, I have pyramids that I made, some of them a little on the flaw side, so I am dropping prices on a lot of these things. Some of them are good. But these little guys start at $50, and that's shipping included in the United States. The bigger ones, this is 90. It's heavy. I got a lot of these guys, or that I've been pumping out. Again, some of them, they're not tippity. The points are not, the mold failed on the top, but there's still a lot of good stuff in there, on there. So I've been dropping some prices on them. Email me if you're interested, because some people cannot afford a lot of these things. And if it's not of my standard perfection, I'm just collecting them at this point. And if you want one and you don't have the means to afford it at full price, message me. I'm willing to work with people. Even if that's me taking a hit, and 98% of the time it's me taking a hit. I got ornaments for the trees. This one I have to fill in, but this one says home sweet home. Little gingerbread men. I did this like really interesting white color. I have bags of these guys. I can custom it. That's like a hot pink. Again, I showed this, but this is what the string looks like. I have blue, I have green, I have different shapes. This is a red one. There's glitter in there. I got purple. So if you're interested in any of these things, guys, these are relatively on the cheap side. The stars are $10. These are $6 with shipping. So make sure if you are interested in shopping small and decorating your tree and getting a little piece of my energy, awesome. And I made new candles. They're soy candles. Inside them are gems. This one is forest pine. My candles are $15 with shipping. This is Frozen Stream Winter Magic. Even though it's green, that's the sage. And this one is Campfire Man Cave. Lots of gems and goodies in there. And for $10, I have the mason jar candles that are, this one I am pretty sure this is 1 cent, but I have a lot of them that I have overpour and just make candles. So I got a couple of these. Those are for $10 with shipping. So I have a plethora of stuff. Those don't have gems, or some of them have the black salt in it, and that's just for protection purposes. But I'm trying to accommodate a lot of people that have allergies and or are not into the gems. They just want a candle to light. So I was thinking, like, let's make that an option. I also do sculptural painting. They're really big and really tiny. So if you're looking for something unique and different for the holidays, check my website, alleycatcreations211.com. I am very inexpensive. I charge at what I put into my work, if that makes sense. I'm not really charging overpriced. Some of these pyramids on some people's channels are $500. I've seen it. Some of them are $250. And trust me, for what the gems I put in there, I'm charging at cost for the materials I'm putting into these pieces. I'm not really charging for my labor or for anything else. The epoxy is also extremely expensive at the moment. So I'm only giving you what is legitimately at cost. I am very transparent when making all of this, and I'm including shipping, which has been exponentially even more expensive. But this is not just about getting myself some help and promoting my business. This is about the spiritual soul advice, really from the soul, is what happened a year ago today. And I'm titling this change and how to walk through that change, because I'm going to walk you through, again, my channel is all about my journey and the journey I took last year and how significant a year makes. A year ago, at this very moment in time, I was driving through the late stages of Pennsylvania, early stages of Ohio. Just to be fair with the traffic and the things that I was going through. I had my moving truck on the road. I moved. And that was a scary day for me. A year ago, I did not know what was coming. I did not know what the cats were going to do in the car for 13 hours. I didn't know. I didn't plot too much. I just put the hotel's address in the GPS and flawed it. And for that entire ride, it was just blasting music and just getting all the scary cobwebs out of my brain of negative self-thinking. And just letting God, source, the prime creator, take the wheel and take my helm. Because at that point, I was devastated. I was traumatized. I had a really rough few days before all of that. And even up until the movers like put everything on the truck, there was a lot of things that I had to leave behind. I wasn't necessarily wanting to, but they couldn't fit anything more on the truck because of other issues that were not their fault. It was the people I was working with that charged me an arm and a leg, by the way. I got scammed. But everything almost completely made it to the storage facility. But that moment in time in my life, I just was at a loss. What do I do? I don't know. I'm by myself at this moment. I don't have really anybody giving me too much advice. I just picked a hotel and said, okay, this is the only place that's taking animals. I gotta eat the cost. I gotta figure this out. Last year at 3 o'clock in the morning, I arrived at my destination. The hotel was shut down. I had to freaking call. They like took me out of the system because I didn't show up. But because I was on the road, I couldn't make a phone call. And if anybody knows I-80 and going through Indiana, there's not as many rest stops as you would want to hope for. And at that moment, I just wanted to get to something. I was exhausted. Had a very long day, 13-hour drive straight. I only stopped for gas and I was right back. I wanted to get my cats out of the car. Finally, everything was kind of mulled through, and the lady was super, super efficiently nice and, said, "Oh, I see you had a reservation and we'll take care of it in the morning. No worries, here's a room." And everything worked out. But that was very scary. Those moments were scary. I didn't know if it was a seedy part of the town. Apparently it is. But I gave my faith and I gave it all. I surrendered. I said to Source and all my guys, I was like, okay, if I have this great grand purpose, you're going to steer me because I'm done. I'm frustrated. I'm sad. You just tested me in the biggest way possible because I did not want to move. I didn't want to give up my parents' legacy. I didn't know what was coming, but I had no choice because I wasn't getting the help that I needed. And that was looking for a job. And nobody really stepped up. I had friends that did send me stuff, but then when I would call, they would always ask for this. And we were still in that lull zone of, oh, I don't know, maybe, we're still in that back and forth ping pong match about that. It sucked. So I had really hard decisions to make. I did not have much advice. I just shoot with the breeze and gave it up. I surrendered. And that alone is one of the biggest changes one can make, is when I'm an Aries. I'm hot-headed. I'm not always stubborn, but certain things I can be. And I had to give all of that up and say, well, my head's against the wall. I have really nobody really stepping up to put my feet back up, hold me and get me up on my feet. And that's not by financial means. Listen, I'm thankful, and the gratitude that pours out of my heart for the people who did step up to help me financially. I am in great debt to each and every one of you. And for the people who fed me, I'm at a healthy weight. I am back at a healthy weight. Do I need to tone? Absolutely. But I look at myself 2 years ago on those videos and I was emaciated. It makes me want to cry. The changes I implemented in order to get where I am a year later is not easy. Change is not easy. It isn't. Change. It's not easy. It's very tough. It's practice, actually, to make changes. Sometimes you're forced, like the universe forced me. The first long-term job I ever had, I had a lot of jobs growing up. The one that really was my long-term full-time job was being a lifeguard and a whole bunch of other things that mixed into that genre of pool. And the universe, I was getting I was already really sick with the arthritis. It was when my father passed away and I needed health insurance because I couldn't function, and grad school went out the window, and all this very hard, stressful stuff really hit me hard. And I was in the pool one day and went into anaphylactic shock. But leading up to that, I didn't know why I had severe sinus problems. I didn't know why I kept having to go to the bathroom because I was eating Benadryl like they were Skittles. I don't like Skittles, but comparatively, the universe was giving me those subtle hints like, this is time to get up and move out. This is not the direction you're supposed to be in. And I didn't see those signs. I was not cognizant that I was being delivered signs from the universe. I thought, oh, it's my allergies. And there goes my mom with the indoctrination programming that she's only known. Well, you need health insurance. You can't just walk out of your job. Like, what do you have? How are we going to survive? I just didn't go in my heart to hear, see, or get the signs that the universe was giving me until they forced it. I went into shock. Now it's like, do or die, honey. You got to make changes. Here's your wake-up call. Here it is. This is not the path you're supposed to be on. As much as you love your job and as much as this is going to kill you, literally going to kill you. So a lot of things transpired from that point. And I started not knowing, like back then, I was attuned to certain things, but I wasn't like seeing a fuller picture. I wasn't really going in my heart space. I had a really bad breakup at that point that wasn't fun. And that was devastating. And the universe was really like throwing me on the floor and saying, now you're going to pick yourself up and you're going to show yourself how you can persevere. It was difficult, but I started slowly at that moment in time, taking a step back and looking at all the situations like, why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? And again, it's not negative self-speak to ask yourself, okay, so what am I missing here? There's something missing. What am I missing? And when you start looking back at your life and asking why did those events, those major catalysts occur, obviously, besides you writing it in for yourself, because you wrote it in. Why did you write those things in for yourself? Once you start answering those questions, you start making changes and twisting the way you think and how you perceive things. Okay, so this is the signs that the universe was giving me, and it wasn't in the ways that I'm normally used to. They're making a change for me to open up more and expand. You don't see it in the moment, but if you think about it, how did the universe show you signs that something was going to happen? It's not pretty how it happens either. It's not coming in with rainbows and sparkles and beautiful boxes presented to you. It's coming in shit and suffering and pain. It's a catalyst. That's a catalyst. They're showing you what path you're on is destructive. You need to change. What is it that you can do in order to make a change in your life, whether it be your location, whether it be your job, whether it be your mindset? The biggest thing back then for me was negative self-speak. I used to say, well, I'm not good enough. And obviously, many of us have health issues that most jobs are not going to accommodate. A lot of people are like, well, if you can't work, why don't you do retail? Yeah, but go ask my back to stand on my feet for 6 hours, even with 15-minute breaks. I will not be able to walk. And I'm not good when I'm not functioning. And I was already in that situation at my old job doing with the kids. I'd be up at 4:00 in the morning, get on a bus at 5, get into the city at 6 to beat all the rush hour traffic, have breakfast, get in the room and meditate and like chill out and then start my day. But then by the time I got back on the bus to go home, my body was done. And half the time I'm squeezed up against somebody in a bus, packed, crowded with people for 2, 3, 4 hours. Sometimes it was 30 minutes, sometimes 45, depending on the day. And you didn't know how that day was going to go on transportation. And by the time I got home, then I had to deal with my mom. And then when my mom died, it was still not easy having to do it all by yourself without help. But I did it. I persevered. But I had to make a lot of changes in my thinking about my situation, about my life. And there we go again. The world shuts down, the apocalypse is happening, and then I lose my job because I couldn't take that. No one was standing up for me. I didn't know what to do. What am I going to do? I'm losing everything. I had a conversation with upstairs and said, I have to put my faith in you that you're going to lead me into a better path, because I'm surrendering now. I'm done. I'm not fighting this anymore. I don't know what is to come. I don't know what is to be, but I can't live like this anymore. I cannot be suffering anymore. And it took a long time. It took another year to find a realtor, to find income, whether that be going and at 3 o'clock in the morning, going out on the streets and getting bottles and cans out of the recycling bins, which I did, to go to the stores, finding coins and change and pawning and doing a lot of things I didn't necessarily ever think I would have to do to survive, but I had to, and I put my pride down and I did it. I changed. Instead of sitting and wallowing in what am I going to do, I, again, am an Aries. I don't really ask for help. And I do, it usually goes onto deaf's ears. It does. I was very disappointed in so many people. But then people who stood up didn't think, they didn't have much of anything to give me in the first place, stepped up more than people I knew for years that are well off, couldn't spare $50 for me to get food. Saw how emaciated I looked, saw the conditions and that I couldn't help. People know I have allergies. Like, I have severe allergies. I was on allergy shots for 10 years. These people did not one thing for me, not even a piece of advice. And again, I'm not asking for handouts. I'm asking for help, whether it be a job, whether it would have been food, whether it been, hey, could you cover a bill for me? Something. Do you know a realtor? I don't want to use a friend because I don't want to mix business and friendships. That's not okay. I was just asking wherever I can get it from, wherever. I was asking for it. Universe tested me again. I had to do a lot more than I would have wanted to on my own. But through that showed me how much more I could persevere through the pain and the suffering and the hunger. And a year ago today, I was on the road, not necessarily scared, but anxious and nervous about what was to be. And if I would have known back then, I would have kicked my own ass and said, you're making the best change that you could possibly make for your life. As much as you miss and love where you grew up and all the people that you love, you had to go. It wasn't a place for you to be in anymore. Now, it was a horribly long year in terms of getting myself in, getting my house so where I could live in it, and not on a air mattress. I had to move all of my stuff in myself. That took months. I built the furniture myself. I painted the walls. I did the majority of the work myself. But spirit needed me to do it all to prove to my own self that I could do it, and I had it within me. No matter how much pain I was in or what I limited my mind with, this is something that I think the collective is going through. This is the dark night of the soul. The energy in the present moment right now is the dark night of the soul. We're going through it. A lot of the things in your past are now going to come up, and they've been purging, but it's different aspects of your past, of your soul and your past lives and your concurrent lives that you're purging out because you're trying to expand but become one with everything. So you got to go through these purges. You got to go through these emotional states, and they're not easy to revisit your past and the pain and the suffering, the trauma. You got to change your mindsets. And change is not easy, especially when you're older and you're so used to the same routine each and every day. You get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you get in the shower, you do your thing. You make your coffee or your tea. You're having breakfast. And then it's like off to the races with all the other things that you do. Is there a break in your routine? Your mindsets. Are you expanding your perceptions? Are you taking the bird's eye view, or you think you do, but you're really not, because what you say and what you put out is still not being as open as you would think. Change takes time, but every day, it starts with your mind. Change your mindset. Change up your routine. The littlest things help you rewire some of your neurosynapses just to change up a routine or change up your food or try something new or be simultaneous. Like a lot of people, I'm not phobic, but there is things that I am very uncomfortable doing. I like to make sure that I know bathroom, when you're on the road and things can go wrong, I like to have places where I know, where I looked on the map, okay, well, if something happens, this is the next exit over here. I like to be pre-planned and to be logistic in the way, in what I do when I'm driving. I gave it up to the universe. I've driven far for the most part, but I only know the East Coast, like Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Jersey, little bits of Pennsylvania. Like, I've never driven 4 states away, like, for a very long time. And yeah, for most people, oh, Allison, that's, but okay, but when you've never done something before, it's a change. And you have to make those changes in order for things to move forward. So I just said, F this, care if I'm scared or if this is making me anxious, I'm going. And I did. I landed in a place I've never visited or been in. No idea. Zero. I've been to Indiana once before, and that was a few months prior to that because I wanted to see JQ talk for the very first time. And I got enough cans and bottles and enough provisions of food and snacks for the car ride. That was 30 hours back and forth in one trip. No one offered me for housing, lodging, nothing. And I wasn't sleeping in somebody's parking lot. So I did that drive back and forth. Worth it. I met a lot of people that day, and a lot of those people are now considered my family. If I didn't put myself out there and made some changes in my mindset, the things that scared me, the things that made me anxious, and scared not in a fear-based, just make me uncomfortable because I'm not used to doing certain things. I'm not used to just being spontaneous. And I made a lot of spontaneous choices that led me in the right directions. Are you being spontaneous? Are you just getting up one day and saying, I'm just going to take a drive, wherever it leads me, it will lead me. Maybe you discover a new restaurant to try. Maybe it leads you to a park that you could go sit on a swing and be a kid again. Maybe it's I'm going to just take a trip to another state. I don't know. I'm just going to take you wherever. It's these little adventures, and I know not everybody's able and capable of doing it, but it's those things that you do on a daily basis that's spontaneous that creates the change in your brain, that proves to you that you can make the changes, that you can do it. I didn't have a choice. The universe this was the second time the universe really smacked me in the face and said, we've been telling you, you've been having signs, you're just not seeing them. Well, now here's the extreme. You learn your lesson. When are you going to learn? I sure damn learned by losing it all. And that in its own way, it helped me detach from materialistic items and things. It helped me detach. These bookshelves behind me, I would have had to have built more shelves on top. I had to give a lot of my books away. I had to give everything my parents really earned and worked extremely hard for their entire lives away. Do you think that was easy? You know, my parents were not old when they passed away, and I'm the only child. I'm the one that inherited all of their insanity. It was not easy to throw it away, to have it destroyed. Some things were destroyed, and I had to watch it. It was not easy to do, but I did it. And again, my mom reminds me, take nothing to the grave. And if you are getting cremated, you're really not taking anything to the grave. And if you are going to the grave, what are you really taking with you? You're not going to enjoy it in your other life because you're going to be transcended into the light. You're not going to need anything there besides your energy. So enjoy the things that you have in your life right now, but don't keep an attachment to it. That's another change that a lot of people need to start making. It's the truth. People are very attached to things, to people, to places. And that whole year last year helped me detach. It really helped me. In the moment it sucked and it was very difficult, but it showed me that I can do it. It forced me to make a change in my behavior, in the way I was thinking. It helped create an atmosphere for me to expand in ways that I never thought were possible. Because I just wasn't seeing it. I wasn't cognizantly aware of these things until it dropped down in my lap and said, now you're going to deal with it. Bitch. Universe is like, you're laughing at me. But here I am. A year later, I'm sitting in my house. A year later, it took time, but someone literally rang my doorbell for help. Like, who the hell does that nowadays? It's a scary world out there, and you don't know who, what, where, when, why. But the boyfriend rang my doorbell to want to help me. And we went out on a date, and now we're dating. That doesn't happen to me. Those things don't happen. The last relationship I was truly in was 13 years ago. And that was devastating. That was a narcissistic, empathic relationship. It was karmic. And I still talk to him to this day. We're good friends because we both understood what role we had for each other. As we are expanding consciously, we can just say, oh, I signed up for that bullshit. Right? You signed up for that bullshit that I gave you. That was a lesson that you needed from me. Now we're even, handshake, and now we can move forward, right? You can't do that with everybody. Not everybody's cognizantly aware. But we had the opportunity to talk and to work things out. And I'm glad we did. We're soul tribe. Even if you don't think so, most relationships are soul tribe or some kind of connection in your what you need. This relationship I'm in now is the mirror that I need to make sure that I healed everything. This is the dark night of the soul coming through everybody around me. And I need to be on my, again, make sure that the changes I made in my mind are solidified so I can move forward. The changes that have been going on with me in the last 2 months, these are hard changes to make in your mind. These are, and I have spirit because now I'm starting to get teary. These are really hard changes. Understanding, embodying, and getting divine neutrality. It is extremely difficult, where you have to understand that, yes, we live in duality. There is good and evil. When you understand more of how reality works and the perception that you are given, that the stories we've been programmed to understand, to be indoctrinated with, the books that we read, you have to go into your heart space to see if it aligns. And everybody's God spark is different. Not everybody is Christic. Not everybody is from the Christos. There are other God sparks. It's all of God. All of this SmackDown is of energy of the one. Whatever you want to call the one, source, prime creator, the infinite intelligence, the creative spirit. And there's entities that differentiate, that have different roles, that play different parts, that have made up this matrix universe. And we have stories that we gave to each and every one of these entities, whether they be good or bad. And when we all understand that we all have Yeshua, we all have Mary, we all have Hillel, Lucifer, and Lilith, we have all those aspects in us. We are one. Then you can see a bigger picture and make some changes in the way you are projecting your language. You can project the way that you're literally embodying. If you are of the Christic agenda, I call it an agenda, but if you have that God spark within you from the Christ, you are encompassing compassion for all, not just some. You're not speaking hateful things about all these horrible people. guess what? They did horrible things. I get it. And I'm going to keep repeating this because a lot of people are still very stuck. And it's like, change your mind frame. I'm not asking you to accept those things that are of the negative polarity. No one is asking you to do that. But no, they know not. They might not have the Christ spark within them. But that doesn't mean you still don't give compassionate, unconditional love. Even if that love is tough love, it's still a frequency. Something is here with me because I didn't touch my desk. I didn't bang on my desk. And your papers fell on my desk. As we saw that I was a little teary before, these changes in your mindset are not easy. And I have been having a hard time trying to reword and converse and figure it out. Because it isn't easy. Language has been inverted, converted, and destroyed in so many ways. We have to start thinking about unity and stop excluding, because, and it's starting to happen little bits, more people are being more accepting of certain groups because they now understand it's not all, and everybody to an extent is programmed. It's like the Matrix. You can't help when you are born and raised in specific doctrine and specific ways. You can't help that. You give compassion and then understand that most people, this is the way they were taught, this is the way that they are, and it's up to them to make the changes to see the bigger picture, but we're not all there yet. So that's where the compassion part comes in. That's where you give divine unity, consciousness, the big, okay, I get it, I have to wait, I have to be patient. That patience isn't easy when everybody around you isn't really thinking those things. And then they think on, even though the most open of people who are extremely expanded in their thinking, find you crazy. Right? As you raise your vibration and as your perception keeps broadening and widening, and as you keep rising, that truth interpretation of truth keeps shifting. Where I'm at, there are other people above me. It's not a race, and it's not putting someone on a pedestal saying you're inferior, you're superior. We're all needed. All of us. I happen to be multifaceted in all the missions that I have. I'm a way shower in this moment in time, trying to show you through my losing it all, through my extreme hunger. I started a channel and I didn't give up on myself. I had not too many people cheering me on, and the people that were doing it silently. I've had to work 20 million times harder than other people. When someone needs something, I could see where other people automatically, everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Let's help that person, and let's get a give, send, go, and a GoFundMe, and let's get this all done. My mom died. Crickets. Father died. That was crickets as well. It's the Amish mindset, and it's not that it's about, hey, Do you need help? I'd rather someone ask me and me decline it than not be asked at all. We're supposed to work together and be here for each other. And that's the other side of the lesson that I needed to learn, is that you need to do it and learn it for yourself first before the help is going to come into your lap. That is a hard lesson to even think about. I had to go through very trying trials, and all of us do. I'm not alone in anything that I am saying. We all perceive and absorb what we go through differently and individuated. Absolutely. You're the only one that knows the exact feeling, but we all have similarities and commonalities in our coming into understanding and the wisdom and walking through it. Right? So what I went through was all catalysts and tests. And it's really interesting to see how other people are always on that bandwagon. Oh, they need help, boom. They need help, boom. Everybody rallies together, and other people that are screaming for help, flatline. Now we really need to take a step back and ask, why? What kind of help can you give on an everyday basis? Again, this is abundance. When you have a finger, and not everybody has their fingers, when you have a finger to click a button on a mouse to like a video, you're helping. That's good energy. Amish mindset doesn't necessarily mean, here, I'm going to write you a check. It helps, but not everybody can give that kind of help. And I realized that. That's why I made and started what I do, because I saw a lot of people need healing, and a lot of people are paying avert money to get something that isn't coming from their heart space. It's coming from a greed space. And again, that's of God's design. We're all one. All just little expressions of uniqueness of source. So we need to keep embracing that concept, but understand the changes that you need to start making in your everyday life, whether it be telling yourself, I love you, healing the trauma, and taking a different approach to how you heal it. Again, we're all used to an algorithm. Think about online. Everything's on an algorithm. What you say, how many people comment, get you shifted. What is your algorithm, and how can you make some changes? What can you do every day to make an algorithmic change in your thinking, in your habits? Every day, try something new that you haven't done before. Read something that you usually wouldn't read. Watch something that you ordinarily wouldn't watch. And if you don't like it, again, you have free will, shut it off. But you gave it a try. You changed something in your daily routine. Maybe you took a night shower instead of a morning shower. Still showered. Maybe instead of listening to one type of music, you put the radio station and you put something else on when you're driving to work. Maybe you're used to wearing or doing your hair, your makeup. If you're a female, maybe for a guy, you're always wearing the same type of outfit. Maybe once a week, spontaneously dress up. I try to do that all the time. I try different modes and modalities to do my hair. I actually cut my hair for the first time in 3 years. I needed a trim, and I gave myself a little bit of a trim. I had a lot of dead ends spontaneous. I'm like, oh, no, it's going. You know, spontaneously try to do things for yourself. But in that spontaneousness that you implore and put your foot forward, change will spark in here, and they'll be easier each time you want to change a direction for something. You just don't know how to. The ways of thinking will expand. The ways of looking at things expand. And then the change will come because you see it now. Like in the beginning, I was saying, I did not see the signs the universe was giving me to move the fuck away from those places and things that were literally killing me. I didn't see the signs. I wasn't opened up enough. Looking back now, I now see that they were really trying to kick my ass. But in the moment, you didn't see it. I was drugging myself with Benadryl every day just to make it through a shift. That was not conducive to my health. But in that moment in time, everybody around me was like, you need a job, you don't need health insurance, what are you going to do? Da, 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 da. Like, there was no problem solving. There was just shouting at me, well, you can't, you shouldn't. What are you going to do? Instead of providing me the help to say, oh, well, you know, you could get health insurance from here, because at the time I was on $5,800 injections a month. What are you going to do? Here's where we can help you. Here's some information. Here's what I've been on. Here's what I've been using. Here's a tool that could possibly help you. It's something more than telling me, well, you really shouldn't because you don't have health insurance. And here, you're not going to have income. What are you going to do? Are you offering me a job? Are you helping me search for a job? Are you helping me revamp my resume? Maybe I didn't write my resume properly. Like, these are the things that other people can come in and help. Where's your specialty? Do you have a specialty in something that you can mentor somebody? You see somebody in a chat, and, you know, they're down on their luck. Maybe you're a therapist. Maybe you have a resume revamp business. Who knows? Can you provide your services to somebody that fell out on their luck? This is how we start making the changes and thinking broader. People tell me all the time, I don't know what my purpose is. What are you good at that you can help somebody with? Not expecting an energy exchange. A thank you is good enough if you're trying to help somebody get back on their feet. Energy exchange, it doesn't need to be equal. It needs to be there, obviously, and you don't want yourself getting taken advantage of. That's another thing. But if you are doing a random act of kindness to help somebody out because you have your expertise in something, this is where our purposes are going to start coming into play. Again, change your mindset. Instead of saying, well, I don't know my purpose. Well, what are you good at? And what's your passion? Change your thinking. It's not easy to do that. But again, how am I helping people? Besides doing WeNotMe, I'm volunteering. I don't get paid. I wake up stupid early in the morning to make shows so that humanity at large can get the truth or the perception thereof. I make artwork. That's my specialty. That is within my soul. That's how the other fractals of the universe is working through me, is through my artwork. And obviously making connect the dots in the books that I read. This is how my energy exchange works. There are people who quilt. There are people who build, who are mechanics, who, like my boyfriend, he loves cars. He saw me struggle charging my freaking thing to get my battery to start the car. He jumped me, the car. He saw somebody who needed help and acted on it. He didn't sit back and go on his lunch break to eat. He came and asked me, hey, I'm on lunch. I saw that you're having an issue. Do you need a jump? Can I jump your battery? Okay, those things don't happen to me. I'm usually the person on the side of the road that waits hours, right, for anybody to stop to help. We've all been there. What are you doing on a daily basis to contribute to somebody? And if not every day that you could do it, maybe try a goal of once a week. What is something that you could do? And I know there's many people that watch me that are super amazing at this. You're liking, you're sharing, you're making posts. You are putting out into the universe, here, this might help you. Here's this show. Whether it be on Popular Viewpoint, whether it be the Time Is Now podcast, whether it be WeNotMe, whether it is Jack Breaks Out, whether it is, here's this document, look at it. Here's a meme. This is uplifting. Whatever it is, there's so many more people partaking in this unity. It is a beautiful thing. And we need to continue to push this because we all come together. Harmony is going to start happening. Peace is going to start happening. Timelines are going to be shifted to the higher ones because we're all more thinking of compassion and grace and unconditional love. But are you implementing those changes each and every day in your life to do that and get there? I'm looking at some of you. Been a year. And I had to make a lot of changes. And I know many of you are doing these changes as well. There's a lot of very heavy, hard things happening in the world right now. There's a lot of hard and heavy things going on in your personal world right now. We all need to keep the faith. If I didn't go into my heart space and ask myself these hard, deeper, heavier questions of my life, of myself, reflecting on it all, I wouldn't be here. Doesn't matter how many people you have in your life or how many you lack. Excuse me. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you are all you have. You are only one individual in the stream of infinitude. Are you going to make each and every day and every breath you breathe count? Are you making sure that you're doing everything to your best ability? And yeah, we're all flawed. We're not perfect. We have personalities, we have ego, we have the regular 3D matrix to traverse each and every day. That doesn't make anything easier. I promise you that. Nothing's easy. But are you making the changes in your mind and your thinking so that each and every day is a blessing? That you see each and every day as something that you can improve on if you had a bad day? We're entitled to those days. The last couple of days, I've been running on empty. And I took the other day to sleep in. I haven't done that in a month, couple of months. I've been waking up early and doing and trying to force myself out of bed. And I took the time to literally fall asleep and not have to put an alarm on. Are you giving yourself those moments, even if they're once in a few days or once in a blue moon? Are you giving yourself compassion and grace? Are you taking care of yourself? Again, you can't take care of others if you're not pouring from a full cup. You got to put your boundaries up. And that is another big change that a lot of people need to start implementing into their lives. You know, when I first started my relationship with the boyfriend, it wasn't easy. It's a whole new experience for me. I've been alone. I don't have children. My parents are passed. And now I'm being thrown a role that I am stepping gracefully into and trying my hardest. I'm not perfect and I'm not going to get it all right, but I'm doing the best that I can. And then he has an accident that kind of alters everything really early in a relationship. That's not easy to traverse either. There's a lot of slack that I've been trying to help him pick up because of the circumstances that he threw himself. But I'm not going to sit there and let him or his daughters falter. So I've been picking up where he lacks. But I still have to take care of myself and my needs. So I make sure my boundaries are up and that I give myself the time that I need to do my own healing in my life. You know, a lot of relationships are imbalanced. And I'm noticing that as a lot of the women that I speak to, you know, we have the old paradigm laws and rules where the man goes to work and the women are working now and things are a little hectic, but the roles didn't really change, right? Usually the women are cooking, and it's a stereotype. We need to get rid of these stereotypes. But this is what I've been hearing when I'm on the phone and in conversation with a lot of people. A lot of you are giving way too much of yourself without the energy coming back. And sometimes you need to put your foot down and put some boundaries up, not because you don't love them and you don't want to be a helpful, amazing person that many of you are. It's just you need to change your mind to say, well, I am important. If I don't take care of myself, what's going to happen when I'm not here? How are they going to function if I'm not here? And this goes for every aspect of your life. You got to make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can be here to see the next day and appreciate the breath that you are breathing in every single moment. As I'm pulling an oracle card, because this is like what I've been liking to do, create space. And I'm asking on behalf of the collective, not what does Allison need right now. Make room for your dreams. Create a space for new desires by learning how to be happy now. We all want certain things in our life to change. Ha! I don't make this up, guys. This is spirit. And it is up to each of us to do something about it. I'm going to put a pause right there because here's the thing. I had to literally put action, physical action into motion in order to make the changes in my life. I have a picture on Facebook of my move to remind me this is where I was, and I had to pack my house. I had to do X, Y, and Z in order for this to happen. You have to put action into motion for the manifestation to happen. It's just not sitting here and, you know, the universe helped conspire the boyfriend, but I still had to go outside and try to jump my car that failed in order for that chemistry of attraction, the compensation of the universe to even work. If you apply action from a position of truly wanting change, you will create evidence of that desire as manifestations of change. Once you notice something you would like to change, take a breath and say thank you. Recognizing what you want to change brings you more clarity on what you would like to change it to. Your job is to create the space for your dreams and desires to fill. Do this and you will begin to receive direction and wisdom. Create this space by coming into balance, meditating, focusing on the moment, or thinking of a person, animal, place, or situation that makes you smile. Feel the smile stretch through your body and relax, knowing that all you desire is on its way. You have empowered and embodied your whole being because you don't need conditions to change to feel joyous in the present. You are bathing in unconditional love. Breathe it in and enjoy how good you feel. So earlier, I've been noticing there's more channeling going on with me that is of higher. That I'm being recognized now of what those energies are. They're very profound to the collective. I'm not special. Other people channel these beings constantly. I'm not unique in that way, but my goodness. Out of all the cards in this deck, I pull this one. 0 coincidences. 0. Create space. I did. My manifestations are nowhere near perfect. They're not over. You know, my business either hits or misses. It's not consistent income. I am very thankful and I am blessed for the people who have already ordered and love. And I get a lot of beautiful cards and letters from people. And I give a lot more than I should. But I know that people can use the upliftment. And that's my job. That's my mission here. Just to show you that put faith in humanity. There's good people out there. But all of this change happens inside of you first. Going into your heart space, loving yourself, and making the changes in your mindset so that you're making the space for that change to occur is what's needed. I'm not taking all the cards out today because I needed to rant. Change is not easy. And I can tell you right now, I can't believe I'm sitting here a year later. Healthy, eating properly, and healthier food. Never thought I would be in a relationship because, again, if it happened, great. And if it didn't happen, great. Right? Like, I gave a lot of myself up and surrendered to God, source, the all. I surrendered. And I know that my whole entire life I was walking the path. Just didn't know how. And now I'm starting to channel higher density beings. And no, I don't do readings, and I'm not doing public channelings. I'm not there yet. And that's not something I want to profit off of. And yes, could I use that steady income? Sure can. Will I do it? Not right now. When the time is right, if the time is ever right. Rather do these. Because I'm showing you tangibly. Cards are tangibly showing you. There's no way, out of all the cards that I pick, it's on the topic that I'm talking about. I'm showing you. Because sometimes people need to be shown, because you're looking at a vehicle and you're making an assumption, you're making judgment. Oh, that she's gothic. She's this, she's that. I'm just playing a role that you're not, but you're me, just a different aspect of you. When you understand all of the fractals of other beings are in you, working through you, and are you. It's a lot of mind fuckery right there, but think about it. Every one of us has Christ within, and source, and angels, and archangels. Some have bigger and higher fractals than others. Some have certain entities working through them and not others. It depends on what you are and what you do. I'm not going to have Tesla drop down the schematics of a Tesla tower. I'm just not. I'm not a scientist like that. I love quantum physics. I love entanglement. I love string theory. I love reading about it. Can I do the mathematics on it? No. Am I an engineer to build something like that? No. That's not my specialty. That's not my purpose in this world. But there are scientists that are open enough to receive what is coming through the ether. So this is why I'm saying the change that you need to bring into your life is what, I don't know what my purpose is. We'll work on that. Change your perception of what that looks like. What are you here to do? It doesn't matter your age. You had a career. What are you good at? Do you do a hobby that you're really ridiculously good at? Are you good at canning? Are you good at gardening? Are you good at quilting? We need the old skills to come back into existence. A lot of people have a hard time creatively working and making. Are you a builder? Are you a welder? Do you like making cars? Are you an inventive person that just thinks of really, here, I can make this better? What is it that you do? Are you a good speaker? Are you a good listener? Are you a good comforter? What are you inside? Make those changes to bring out the best possible you. Patience. Trust the higher forces of life to know what is best for you. And remember that when you are asked to wait, you are being prepared for something even better than you expected. So change your attitude to one of acceptance. Relax and take stock. Ask your angel to enfold you during this waiting period so that you can listen to the promptings of the divine. Do not rush off some wild goose chase of your lower will. When the time is right and you are ready and refreshed, the next door will open. Patience is always rewarded. All things happen at perfect time. This is so hard for so many of us, guys. I lost my job 2 years ago, and it took a full year and a half. I had to really be patient, and I had to be patient every day to know when I was going to eat, what I was going to eat, how is my bills going to get paid, can I keep this up? I had to be patient. The universe had plans, and I had to wait for divine timing. I wanted to move over the summer. I put everything into packing and getting myself ready to move over the summer. And did it happen over the summer? Hell no. It happened a year ago today. Winter, where my car does not function properly. I fishtail over the place. I did it last night. My car sucks. I need a new car. Am I thinking about manifesting one right now? Hell no, because I know practically that's not going to happen. So I got to work with what I have. But my goodness, guys, last year was scary too, because I'm like, is it going to snow? What am I going to do? I don't have an efficient car for winter. Car does very well in the summer, but even in New York, I couldn't even drive my car to the bus stop. I had to walk. And it's not because I'm a bad driver. It's just the car is light and it's tiny. It slips. It's all over the place. Patience. And I'm just giving you my insert of how I had to wait for the right conditions, to get the right realtor, to get the right scenario, to get the right buyer, to get the right timing. Why? Because where am I now a year later? In a way better situation than I could ever think. Is everything perfect? Absolutely not. Things are not as they seem. But you know what? I'm striving each and every day to not go into negative self-talk. I'm making sure that every day I'm making the most out of my day, even if it's to give myself grace to sleep. See, giving you a thumbs up. Aspiration. It is time to set your sights higher. If you're settling for the mediocre, aim for the superb. Stretch yourself to fulfill all your potential and hold mighty visions. Find the wisdom within you, which enables you to aspire to the great and glorious. Then expand your comfort zones so that you can explore your dreams. The angels guide you never to settle for less than your incredible human spirit can achieve or deserves. Ask for help from the angels, and they will guide and inspire you to raise your consciousness and live at a higher level. Let your spirit soar and aim for the divine. I aspire to the great and glorious. So we have dreams and aspiration. There are many people who have really good ideas and they're just waiting for the Nasara Jasara, the RV to go off so that they can go and do their missions. Why can't you start that now? I talk to more and more people about what they want to do as humanitarian projects, and it's like, why are you waiting? These are amazing ideas. Why are you hesitating to start? Because you need funding? Well, what does an entrepreneur do? What does an inventor do when they have a thought? And in that thought, they create. And in that create, well, how am I manifesting this in a material world? Things just don't appear right now like this. I don't have a machine that will make my design. Who can afford one? But if you have an idea and you put it on a piece of paper, and then you do the research on it, and then you find groups or like-minded people who might expand or better your concept, or your concept betters their concept. And then you all start working together. And then there are people who are righteous people who will back you up financially. And then things get lofted off the ground. Do you really need to wait? And then when and if things do happen the way people want them to happen, you're already far ahead that you can already start on feet on the ground helping. Instead of waiting for things to be developed, develop them now. Put action into motion and manifest it. Don't give up on your dreams because they seem unobtainable. My parents always told me, I don't know why you went to art school. You wasted a lot of money to go to art school. It's negative talk my whole life. I'm never going to amount to anything. I'm not smart enough. I am not that talented. Mom and dad kept feeding that into me because everybody around them said, well, artists don't make livings. 98% of the time, that's kind of the truth. But why can't I be in that 2% of thinking that I can? I still went to art school. It's where I was supposed to be. If I didn't go to art school, I wouldn't have been exposed to the content and material that's behind me. I wouldn't have had the expansive thinking in existentialism, in all the philosophy, metaphysics. I wouldn't have been exposed to the law of one or the Voyagers books for that matter. I wouldn't have the wherewithal to deconstruct and construct my thinking. That's what, when you go into art school and they ask you to look at a piece of artwork, you construct it and deconstruct it in criticism. You look at a whole picture and then you look at the composition, the foreground, you're looking at the materials, you're looking at the craftsmanship, you're looking at everything. This is what school taught me. It's not about the gift that I have. It's about what it taught me, the mechanisms in which to think, the language to use, knowing the system. But I wouldn't have been exposed to all these books and all these amazing critical thinkers, abstract thinking. I'm an abstract thinker. It's not easy to be amongst a whole lot of people that don't think abstractly. They think concretely. You need a balance of both. I live in the logical, rational world as much as I live in the abstract world. You need a balance. And this is where the changes are starting to be brought forth to life. We need to come into balance and we need to come into neutrality with that understanding. It's not easy. I made so many changes in the last year, and I continuously keep making changes to my daily life, to the way I'm thinking, to the way I'm responding and reacting to stimulus. I'm pulling myself back when I feel that, okay, I tried. I'm not going to get disappointed that my message didn't get out today, or that I didn't sell anything today, or that people are still like not giving me credit where credit's due. And I just have to look above and beyond that and say, you know what, they're just playing another aspect of me. And how would I respond? I give that person grace and compassion, because eventually it becomes great. If it doesn't, great. Everything is beyond good and evil. I know it's hard to see the world that way, and we want to have justice, and we're righteous. A lot of us are really righteous people. We just want everything to be fair. We want everybody to have a happy existence. That's not the way the system was built, and we all collectively built it. Sorry to tell you that. But right now, you are the game changer to make those changes, to bring forth the change humanity needs. And we can't just do it one by one. We need to do it as a whole. Breakthrough. How many beautiful, heartfelt wishes have been crushed by fear? How many times has society's voice of disapproval cast a shadow on your dreams? Just spoke about that with my parents. It is time to break free of those false beliefs and realize your dreams. Allow your heart to guide you. Trust your inner guidance. The time is right. For those of you like myself, start small. I'm starting small. I'm all privately right now. You can't go to my store and buy anything. Click away. You have to email me and we'll talk. And if you want something, I can make it for you, or you see something you like, I see if it's available and you can have it. Right? Small. Maybe next year, or maybe, soon I will go and get a table at they do that here in the Midwest, not really too much in New York, but every weekend there's a vending event with crafts and homemade items. I might be able to find a little table somewhere, and who knows? Am I there yet? No, not yet, but soon. Start small. Giant leaps are great. I took a giant leap last year, and that was to move, right? I need to get out of New York. Sorry, New York, need to get out of you. That was a giant leap. The business, step by step, little steps. Start small. Wherever you feel, whatever your heart aligns with, the breakthrough is here. About the guardian angels. We each have at least one guardian angel who lovingly oversees all the events of our lives. It's true. Guardian angels are messengers of light whose divine mission is to protect and guide humanity along its sacred journey. Their love for each of us is unconditional, so no matter what you do or don't do, you're always worthy of their love. A lot of us have amazing guides, plethora of them. We have guardian angels. Many of us have a few because we have a mega ton of stuff. Hey, we're going to do this, source. Are you going to help us? Some of us just wanted a quiet existence this lifetime. We're like, I need a rest. I'm over this. Regardless of your choices you made upstairs, know that you always have a guardian angel. And some of them are although we have a spiritual one, we have human angels. Many of you are earth angels. Many of you step in to help other people, and you're their angel. I know a few of them that have walked into my life, and they had no idea that they are. And even when I pointed out to them, they're like, what are you talking about? My best friend, Jen, I really haven't spoken to her since my mother died. She was in her residency. She's now a doctor, and she was doing her residency. She went to Ireland to get her MD, came back to, New York, where I was, when she was. I went to high school with her, and she got a residency in the hospital that my mother happened to be rushed to. And because of her being there, she wasn't appointed on my mother, but she checked on my mom and called me in the middle of the night to make a very life or death situation happen. She's like, hey, I need to incubate your mom. Do you want this? And I said, well, what do you think? And she gave me her opinion, and I said, absolutely go for it. And if it wasn't for her divine intervention to go check on my mother, she didn't have to do that. No, you're in the hospital, you got a lot going on, you're busy yourself, you're a resident nonetheless, you're not even like getting the big bucks just yet. But she did something that gave my mother at least a few weeks more time so that I can get my life arranged and that family can come in and fly in to see her. She's my earth angel. She bought me time. You know, and we always have these people that walk in our lives that do some small, minute thing, but for you and your perception, it is like the world. So know that you have them. Don't deny them out of your life. Okay, I can show this card. It's safe. We have Bath Coal. Eschew complicated explanations as you seek the simplicity of the deepest truth of your heart. Gently but firmly cast aside that which does not resonate on as being true for your heart. Focus upon and speak from a higher spiritual perspective. All prayers are answered at the perfect time and in the perfect way. You have a powerful voice which can foster healing and wisdom on our planet. Bath Cole is a mysterious creature. She's an angel known as the Divine Oracle, the daughter of the divine voice, the pure and true sound of spirit. When she whispers to your heart, you feel it as an inner knowing, a truth. To honor that inner knowing likely requires the confrontation of fear or moving in unexpected directions. Even so, the deep resonance of her truth is more powerful than the resistance may initially feel as we go about our limited perspectives and allow ourselves to be guided by spirit. When Beth Cole appears in a reading, an inner spiritual call may require a leap of faith. A more authentic, awakened you is coming to life. Paving the way for the higher self to manifest typically means that fear and control-based approaches need to be surrendered. And we're here right now. This is the energy that is being purged from us right now. Bath Cole's presence indicates something more appropriate and vital needs to supersede the limiting structures currently in place. As consequence, she is a portent of spiritual transformation and material manifestation. Honoring her guidance requires courage, but brings rich reward on many levels. The Oracle of Bath Cole indicates a voice that is true and needs to be acknowledged. This may be a voice in your own heart, which needs to be heard without judgment or censorship. It may be an intuitive inner knowing to be recognized. It may be a loving and helpful voice of a reliable guide or friend whom you know can be trusted. It may be a teaching from a dream or an insight from a meditation, or even an inkling that certain happenings or sightings are signs from the universe to help you on your life path. Bath Cole is a clear voice of communication between humanity and the higher beings. When called upon, she will assist a human to accurately interpret a sign or omen. God, where was she when I was like going through it? When called upon, she will assist a human accurately interpret a sign or an omen. Her voice brings clarity. Therefore, this oracle indicates a time of confusion is swiftly coming to an end. The oracle also encourages you to practice the power of discernment. Filter ego from heart. If a point of view lowers your vibration, makes you feel negatively about yourself or another, increases your confusion, or makes matters seem more complicated, it is likely to be an ego-driven viewpoint. To consider what you might be able to learn from the viewpoint, you need to settle yourself on more authentic spiritual ground. If this card doesn't sum up my change and many of you and what you're going through right now, I don't know what does. You're not alone. I keep saying that I'm alone. I'm physically no longer that much alone, but I'm still alone right now. You're always around. Spirit is always here. It's just a thought away. It's an instant, it's an entanglement away. Change takes time, and give yourself compassion and grace to make those changes. When you surrender to the universe, a lot of amazing things start to happen, but that doesn't happen unless you go through the dirt, the mud, the pain. When you start changing your mindset to seeing that the mud and the pain and the suffering is worth it, persevere through it. Steps aren't easy, but they're for learning and for soul growth. And if you don't have that growth, you're not going to know, and you're not going to expand. We have to stop looking at suffering and things that happen to us and others as detriments, as God gave up on me. God didn't give up on you. You gave up on God. You have to have the faith. And at times that is very hard when devastating things happen. Extremely devastating things. But put the changes into your mindset. Walk forward. Have the breath each and every day. Make little changes in your life each and every day. Maybe change up your schedule. Maybe instead of tea, you're going to have coffee today. Maybe instead of coffee, you're going to have tea today. Maybe you're going to drink more water today. Maybe you're going to go to a different store in a different town. Maybe you're going to take an adventure. Just take a road trip. Be the next county. I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to explore my way around because, again, I haven't really been around. I'm getting further away. I've been to a few other counties already, but I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm still getting out of my comfort zone. I'm still learning how to make those changes and be comfortable with those changes and just go and do instead of worrying and thinking about getting stuck and what happens if this happens and strategizing my day. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'm out. And those are the little things that I'm doing to help myself make those changes, solidify my brain. What are you doing? Each and every day, right in the comments. Spirit showed up. I was tearing up. That spirit. I get emotional when they're around, and they're higher density beings. We all have these gifts. Again, like I said a few years ago, I didn't see the signs. I wasn't opened enough in my heart space to see that spirit was universally talking to me, and almost killed me. Because that was a catalyst I wrote in for myself for the change, but I didn't see it then. I was being fed. I didn't go into my own heart. I allowed everybody to dictate to me, well, you can't leave, you need health insurance. Well, you can't do this because you need that. And all about the material world. Yeah, guess what? I would love to have health insurance so I can get new teeth, but that's not a reality right now. And I'm not dwelling on worrying about it. I'm just living day to day and having my conscious breath. That's a big change for me too. Remember, change isn't easy. Give yourself grace and compassion. I do on an everyday basis. But spirit showed up. And if we wait to manifest our dreams, divine timing, but you don't need to wait. You don't need some fantastical thing to happen to make some changes. And the smaller, the better. You could, some people can jump right into the pool where it's really cold outside, and some people need to dip like inch in. And that's okay wherever you are at. Just make something happen each and every day. That's a change. Whether it be reversing your schedule, whether it be giving something new a chance once a week, you do something new for yourself, or try something new for yourself, or whatever. Challenge yourself. Give yourself some goals. Find out what does scare you and why won't you do something. You know how people have bucket lists? Well, try to do things that make you uncomfortable or that gives you some kind of anxiety, but you can face it. Those are changes. Whatever it is, guys, try to strive to do something that swaps up the energy. If you keep doing the same thing the same way, you're not making any progress forward, because the change needs to be there to step you forward. When you continuously do the same thing and you're thinking you're getting a different result, you have to put the change in. And sometimes we're not cognizantly aware of what it is that we need to change. But when you start implementing small little things each day, that's a change, you're going to rewire your brain to see the changes that will manifest bigger things for you. And with that, guys, I've been talking, I don't know how long, but yes, it's been a year and I'm happy. And nothing's perfect and I have a long way to go. But where I started from last year, I made some big strides and a lot of work has been put in, and I'm seeing a lot of the results now. Again, nothing is perfect, but I'm really happy where I am. And I only hope to be moving forward, and I'm going to put that into manifestation for all of you. So, sending each and every one of you love, light, protection, grace, and compassion. Please take those steps. It's not easy, but little steps each day. Make those changes. Don't let the universe try to kill you like they try to kill me. Don't listen to other people. Go into your heart space, because I ignored mine. Again, I'm telling you my journey and going through my journey because it isn't perfect. It is sloppy. It is horribly hysterical to look back on. But in the moment, it was devastating. Now I've changed my mindset that I don't have to go back into that pain or need to react like that anymore. When we could do that favor for ourselves, things get better. Doesn't make it easy, but they get better, and a little at a time, things will grow and will prosper. Right now, we are the seed being planted in the winter so that when spring happens, the magic of life begins. So with that, guys, please be safe, be seen. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you would like to help me out, all the links are at the bottom of the video. And again, the holidays are coming. I got really inexpensive things If you would like to support me and my work, put some decorations up and get some good energy going and some protection, please reach out to me via the email, and that's also in the description of the video. And I hope to see you on the next one.